Thank you all for waiting for us. We're here with Amy's family, parents, sisters, her extended family, the police officer co-workers, everybody in this case. First, I'd like to thank the jurors for having done an excellent job of listening to the case, parsing out the evidence, and getting where they needed to go. Obviously, I want to thank the police officers who investigated, my detectives, and of course my two prosecutors, Zita and Robin Coffin, who did an outstanding job. When we go to sentencing later this year, we'll be seeking a life sentence. We thought the jurors came to a very reasonable conclusion. It was the one that the evidence demanded, and I appreciate everyone being here with us here today and sticking by this case for such a long period of time.
Caprio was here, but left.
Right. Mr. Caprio, Amy's husband, chose to leave. He wanted to go somewhere else, and so Tim obviously had the right to do whatever he wanted to do once this case was over, and he chose to just leave. Any questions?
What about the sentencing for us, please, and your impressions on it?
Well, the sentencing will be in July.
Yes, July 23rd.
July 23rd. Obviously, we'll have victim impact testimony from family members, and we really believe the facts of the case speak for themselves, which is why we will be seeking a life sentence.
Does her family have anything to say? I know this doesn't.
Anybody?
Does this bring any sense of closure to you guys? What is the feeling like after hearing something like this?
Only if you want.
I would just like to thank everybody for their support, their prayers, their love and concern, not only from our police family, my work family, friends, relatives, the community. We wouldn't have been able to get through any of this without people's love and compassion.
Very nice.
I'd also like to thank the jurors for dedication to hanging in there, going through over a week of listening to a lot of testimony, a lot of evidence, and then sifting through it. So I know it's a hardship for them, but it's a positive thing for the county and the state that people do sit on the jury. They think about what they do. It's part of our process we all need. Shouldn't be jury duty, should be something you get out of. You should be proud to sit for it. I like to thank the media for their discretion. When the body camera film was distributed, they took into account the family and friends of Amy and being reserved in how they posted it, without going to sensationalism and graphics that might buy them an extra 2% rating or something. But they showed concern and compassion for the family and friends, and that is greatly appreciated. It's a hard thing to watch, and even up to the point where what it is shown is difficult. But we like to thank the media for their discretion and what they did post, and anybody else who happens to get a hold of the full body cam footage, that they also think about the family and how they might put it out into the public or on internet or any other method. So thank you, and again, thank you to the jurors for their effort. They really did sit there, and you can see they were taking notes through the entire process. So thank you again.
Thank you very much.
Does it bring you a sense of closure or relief? I mean, just after hearing it, what was the feeling?
Honestly, this sort of thing it's not a closure. It's a continuation. I was trying to describe sort of the ending, but it's not really an end. We will live with this traumatic event in our lives. We wake up in the morning, we relive it every day, and it's not something that it's going to go away. It's not like a car that gets damaged and you move on to a new car. So we live with it.
All right.
Scott, what do you make of the jury finding him guilty on one count of first-degree burglary and then not guilty on the other?
Well, what I think is that they really closely looked at the evidence, and I think they felt like they could easily, well, not easily, but they could hold him responsible for the one and maybe had a slight doubt about the other. But it really doesn't affect the final outcome because, as the judge explained, felony murder, once you have one felony and then a death in the course of that felony, that's how you get to first-degree felony murder. So as long as they found him guilty of one burglary, we were fine.
And maybe just talk to, in closings, Robin Kaufman had that PowerPoint presentation where she's trying to take all of this evidence and kind of put it into a cohesive narrative for the jury. Can you just talk about the importance of putting together that kind of closing?
Sure. Robin's been working on her closing for about 6 months now. Nowadays, jurors are so used to receiving information in a visual way. And in all of our cases now, we very much try to make it visual and kind of multimedia, because that's the way all of us get information all the time now. And so in any big case, all my prosecutors are putting all that together in a PowerPoint. When you have a week-long trial with all that evidence, you want to get it into a simple format for the jury to understand, and obviously Ms. Coffin did a great job at that.
And why did you find it important to play the body-worn camera footage in opening statements?
Well, I think it was a way to set the tone. You know, when we came out with body cameras, I have found that in 95% of the cases, they greatly help our prosecution or greatly help an individual police officer. I mean, it is what happened, and there can be no doubt about it. You can write whatever you want on a piece of paper, but once you play that video, then everybody knows the starting point. And so we thought it was a very powerful piece that the jury needed to see right off the bat.
Prosecutors, do you have anything to say? I mean, you were working on this from the get-go, I assume.
I am just glad that we are able to begin getting justice for him.
Okay.
And one last thing. There are obviously 3 more trials to go here. So how does getting a conviction in this first trial affect those other 3 trials?
That's really up to defense counsel. Each of them have lawyers, and that's really up to them. We don't really have a choice. We're either ready for trial or they get to decide whether we go or not. All right. Thank you all very much.